Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to the One Bitcoin Show. Today is September the 18th, 2018. Strong hand. Long-term thinking. Bitcoin is the world reserve cryptocurrency. Unconfiscatable. Yeah, Bitcoin. This is where the big boys play. All right, everyone. I just want to say this show is pre-recorded. I'm not doing it live. You'll watch it on, nighttime on Tuesday while I'm in synagogue. This YouTube's going to post this. So, again, it is Yom Kippur, starts at sundown tonight. Tuesday night, it lasts till sundown. Wednesday night, I will be back once Yom Kippur ends. But you Gentiles are now watching this on Yom Kippur, but I am not on my computer. This is pre-taped. I just wanted to clarify that for everyone. Hey, I'm wearing a hat today. Is this the first time I've ever worn a hat in one of these shows? Pound that freaking like button if you remember the No 2X. I hope you remember No 2X. Are there that many new people that have come into the space that don't even know about that almost crypto dividend that everybody was blowing out of proportion? Probably because everything gets blown out of proportion, and since everything continues to get blown out of proportion, we must have people with either horrible memories or just there are a bunch of new people that just don't realize that everything gets blown out of proportion, like this thing. Because Bitcoin wins in the end. There's only one Bitcoin. One Bitcoin equals one Bitcoin is next Bitcoin, not 2x. Hey, something that I've been meaning to say. Where is this thing I have written down? Sell a car for Bitcoin today. Buy a house with Bitcoin tomorrow. So that's the thing. Deferral of gratification. Those of you out there are like, oh, how can I get some Bitcoin? Again, if you got some jalopy around, why not try to list it for Bitcoin? See if anybody's willing to give you Bitcoin. Give them a discount. Say, hey, I've got this used car. I'm selling it for $5,000. You give me $4,000 worth of Bitcoin right now, I'll give it to you just like that. And then with that $4,000 worth of Bitcoin that you sold your Chevy Cavalier for, you do nothing with it. You do nothing with that $4,000 worth of Bitcoin. Let it sit, and then remember what I said. Sell a car for Bitcoin today. Buy a house with Bitcoin in the future. Because, again, one Bitcoin equals one Bitcoin. And, again, in this day and age, I am offended by selling. So pre-2020 halving, if you're spending Bitcoin, oh, man, I'm offended by you selling. I mean, you're spending. That's selling your Bitcoin. Again, this is the era of earning. And as long as you can do it, man, hold on to that Bitcoin. Wait until after the 2024 halving. Again, if you're new here, I have never sold a Bitcoin for fiat. And I will never sell a Bitcoin for fiat until possibly after the 2020 halving. That's the first time I'll even consider it, selling Bitcoin for fiat or spending my Bitcoin on a Tesla for my father. But as I've mentioned, for those of you new to the show. But anyway, that's not saying, oh, Adam, you're going to sell all your Bitcoin after 2020. No, I did not say that. The earliest I would sell any Bitcoin would be after the 2020 halving. Learn about the halving. Hey, actually later in the show, I'm going to talk about the Bitcoin halving and the Litecoin halving and the Bcash halving. Oh, no one ever talks about that one. Okay, remember, new show here every day. Even when Yom Kippur is going on, I do it beforehand. And then, of course, there's 1,000 shows at disruptmeister.com, my archives. Follow me on Twitter at TechBalt. Get your Trezor, your T-shirts at my affiliate links linked to below. And again, TechBalt is TechBalt. That's me on Twitter. And dude, all sorts of great stuff going on Twitter. Matt Odell has this tweet out there. And let's talk about it. The next global recession, not wishing for it, but it's only a matter of time, will be dominated by bail-ins rather than bailouts. Depositors will learn the hard way why Bitcoin has value. The most effective lessons are the ones you learn through getting burned. Longer term, there really isn't a much better advertisement for Bitcoin than having your money forcefully removed from your bank account with no recourse. Now remember, Bitcoin, when you control your private key, it's unconfiscatable. Now, when you have your money in a bank account in anywhere, that bank, it's not your money. That bank can take it away from you. All sorts of countries have all sorts of laws that allow banks to say, oh, well, you're going to take a 10% cut on this. We made some bad decisions. Now we're taking 10% of your money. I believe it's happened in some smaller countries. Now, will this be happening in the United States? Are there going to be bail-ins in the United States? No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm definitely not saying that. I don't think at all. The FDIC, there's all sorts of... But again, the world is a tremendous place. It's a lot bigger than the United States. There will be a recession again, a global recession. It's not going to be the end of the world, but every time there's a recession, bad things happening economically, new things that we could never predicted beforehand. And in some of these countries, whether they be third world, second world, or first world ones, there will be bank bail-ins. And some of you watching this today have bank accounts in these countries where there will be a bank bail-in. And dude, this is the time. If you got a lot of cash sitting around in some bank account somewhere in, the Czech Republic, or where, I'm just pulling that out of my butt there. But no, you shouldn't have a lot of cash sitting around. Try to learn about Bitcoin, dude. All right, try to get more, because the Bitcoin can't be taken away, and there will be bank bail-ins. Will you be lucky enough to live in a country where they're not going to be bank bail-ins? Maybe. Or will you be lucky enough to move your money and before the bank bail-in happens? Maybe, but we can't predict when it will happen, when the next recession is. And again, it is the ultimate advertisement for Bitcoin. When something like that happens, and something like that, and that will be so bullish for Bitcoin. People will learn. You learn your lesson the hard way. When it's forcibly removed, the money will be forcibly removed from your bank account. That's the way of explaining. Bail-in is a nice little word that makes it seem so innocent. Oh, it's just a bail-in. No, they're forcibly removing money from your bank account by force. And again, you should have known better anyway. That's not really your money. Even though it is your money, you don't control it. They can take it at any time. All right, I just wanted to report. Yesterday I said Steemit was down. Steemit is back. Good job, Steemit. Hey, something else that I heard. Now, on my Beyond Bitcoin show, check out the Beyond Bitcoin show from Saturday. I mean, I am just... It boggled my mind how obsessed people become with the weather. And they care more about the weather than their freaking finances. They'd rather worry about, is it going to, the hurricane that's so far away. But I did want to point one thing out, because I got my buddies in Edmonton. It snowed in Edmonton the other day. Oh my God. And they were telling me, oh, it's all right, Adam, you should visit during the winter. No, Adam is never visiting Alberta during the winter, but I love everybody in Alberta. They are in motion when it comes to Bitcoin. A lot of good things going on. I love being at the Bitcoin rodeo in Calgary. Maybe and again, it is summer still here in North America, and that's just even a guy who's just like, I don't want to hear anything about the weather. I got to bring that up. But I wanted to give a shout out to everybody in Canada and in Alberta, in Edmonton and Calgary, and of course, Red Deer. All right, so Ansel Linder, who actually lives somewhere in some mysterious place in the United States that's in the Midwest where it's probably cold also eventually. He said, Ansel, who has been on the show before, has the following tweet. If your coin's monetary policy has changed in the past, it will change in the future. Bitcoin has the best ability to resist monetary policy changes and maintain a fixed supply. Remember, people, fixed supply, very important. Hence, the best store of value. So some are going to say, well, that's boring. That's boring. They can't get with the times. They're going to stick with that same boring monetary policy, 21 billion Bitcoin only. Dude, it's long-term thinking, okay? It's staying on the freaking path. All the other stuff is like, ooh, that's not popular anymore. Let's be impulsive and just change things. If you change it once, you'll change it. If it's changed in the past, it'll change in the future. That's the thing with Bitcoin has that standard where it's not changing. Again, Ethereum set their standard when they had this with the DAO bail-in. They They bailed out all the people that were involved in the DAO in 2016, and that's how Ethereum Classic was born. And now people who deal with Ethereum, like it or not, know that, hey, maybe if there's something bad happens related to Ethereum, they'll just roll back the clock and bail us out. That's out there. That precedent was set. Once you set that precedent, you can't go back. You can't say, oh, no, Ethereum will never do that again. They did it once, they'll do it again. Again, if you change your monetary in this game, in the crypto game, if you changed it once, you'll change it again. That's a good point. And Bitcoin, it's not changing anything. Strong hand, baby. All right. Here is a and again you can say Bitcoin's for the grandfathers and it's old fashioned. That's so. It shows us how short-term thinking and impulsive people that say things like that. This is a whole new revolutionary technology, and you're already saying something's a grandfather and it's boring. Dude, learn about the halving. All right, the simplicity and beauty of the halving and the fixed supply. That's what started all this stuff, okay? And then everything else made it super duper complex. And hey, all the altcoins can try to be as complex as they want to. They're not going to be the next Bitcoin. Bitcoin's the next Bitcoin. Competition is a great thing, though. That's great. And all right, so we're going to move to this article about China from marketplace.org that I stumbled upon. Fear of missing out in China is a $7 billion industry. It's part of the pay-for-knowledge economy over there. Now, I'm bringing this up because the article starts out by saying, a guy not living the best life in China. He lives in a very small house with his wife and kid, and he doesn't have the best job in the world. He paid to learn more about cryptocurrency so he could be a cryptocurrency trader or something, or a cryptocurrency. So people in China, they're aggressive, I guess. They want to improve themselves. How about that? They want to improve themselves. And they're willing to pay for it. They're willing to pay gurus that other people endorse. Like if a guru becomes popular, they all pile behind that. They all want to know about the latest hot thing, whether it be cryptocurrency or trading stocks, and they pay for it. And like a mob, they all pile into it. And so this has happened with cryptocurrency before, currently. And I bring this up because this is only the beginning. Crypto and Bitcoin will become popular again in China, and all sorts of people are going to be willing to get into it in China. Because right now, there's not a lot of Chinese that are into Bitcoin. I mean, there's over 1 billion people there, and when they get into something, they not only they pay to be a part of it. Okay, that's what this article is about. So yeah, the 80, and it gives you a little bit of insight. Yeah, there are 80%ers in China also that are not willing to do their own research, that don't trust themselves, that want some guru to dictate to them, and maybe that's because they've been raised in under an authoritarian government. They are very much trend followers. And they fear missing out. Once there's a trend, they want to pile into it. So they've done it on a small scale with Bitcoin before. They're willing to do it again. This bodes well for Bitcoin. And again, this article gives you it's a beyond Bitcoin type of article. Gives you some insight into the culture of China, the society of China, and the fear of missing out culture. But again, they are very willing to pay to gain the upper hand on their fellow citizens, or to think they're gaining the upper hand. Again, if they just took the time to learn about it on their own and to not pile into it when it's the hottest thing, but again, they seem to follow a lot of trends, and now's the time to get into Bitcoin for them, but it's probably not that popular over there right now in terms of paying for, pay to learn from these ridiculous gurus. They mention other things people pay to learn about over there. Okay, again, pound that freaking like button. You can email me to adam@tresorhelp.com. If you need a crypto consultation, if you need help setting up your Trezor. I will be in Santiago, Chile, starting on Friday. That's going to be good. I leave Baltimore on Thursday. So I'll meet, if you're in Chile. If you're in Santiago, I hope to see you. I know my buddy Gabriel down at, Fort Galt. I always mess up the name. He's far away. I don't think I'm going to be able to see you, dude. But you never know. Who knows? If I'll travel. So again, final thing here. This is a tweet from my buddy Anders out in Los Angeles, who puts on the Century City Bitcoin meetup. He's a hardcore Bitcoin guy, and he reminds us that the Bitcoin halving right now is scheduled to take place on May 21st, 2020. Again, that's everything I talked about is linked to below, by the way. He retweeted a tweet from a site, and you could bookmark this site, and it does the countdown to the May 21st, 2020. It's not going to, it'll happen sooner than that. But right now, it's scheduled for May 21st, 2020. The Litecoin, now he didn't mention this because he's a total Bitcoin guy, but I wanted to bring this up as someone actually asked about this. The Litecoin halving is supposed to take place on August the 7th, 2019. I linked to that site where you can follow the progress of that halving. Again, that's August the 7th, 2019. And finally, no one has said when the Bcash halving is supposed to be. I didn't know if there was a site where you could find it. I found a site. I linked to that site that says when the Bcash halving is going to be. It will be on April, at this point, it will be on April the 7th, 2020. Again, all of these dates are going to move forward a little bit. But the thing you got to remember is Litecoin halving will happen first. That will be in the summer of 2019. Then the Bcash halving will happen next in April of 2020, spring of 2020 most likely. And then finally, a little bit later, about a month later, the Bitcoin halving will happen. So the halving hype might start with the Litecoin halving, but definitely people will be talking about the Bitcoin halving by the time the Bcash halving happens. And I think the Bcash halving will add hype that will create a FOMO for the Bitcoin halving. And the Litecoin halving also might trigger that. But again, the Litecoin halving is is 9 months before the Bitcoin halving. I still think that people are so short-sighted and not long-term thinkers that the Litecoin halving will happen, and then they'll forget about it for a few months. And then they'll be like, oh, wait a second, Bitcoin's going to have a halving. This Bcash halving's coming up. All right, whatever. The point is this. They're happening. Get in before there's FOMO about it. The supply of new coins will be cut in half. That's the basic. That's why it's a store of value type of thing. The less and less will be created. More and more is going to get lost. All right, everybody. I hope you have a meaningful fast. I hope you have a good time in synagogue over the next 24 hours, or by the time you're watching this, less than 24 hours. I'll be at the Chabad services in Owings Mills, or I'm there right now as you're watching this. I'm Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Remember to subscribe to this channel, like this video, share this video, check out the notes section below. And of course, pound that like button. See ya.